Yeah. So we start with exercise 2. Integration by parts. Please, you have to pay attention. As I told you before, integration by parts is used whenever we have integral of a product of two functions of different types. Integral of functions of different types. So here I have a polynomial which is x multiplied by a trigonometric function sine x. So I have to use integration by parts. I will solve it slowly. If you have questions, please ask. First, the rule is integral of the product u dv equals uv minus integral of v du. هذا rule you have to memorize. You have to memorize this rule. Integral of u dv equals uv minus integral of v du. So I have I is the integral from 0 to pi over 2 x sine x dx. Always I take the polynomial part as u. I say u equals x. From u I can calculate du by making the derivative. Derivative of x is how much? Is 1. So it is 1 dx. And I take dv, the second part, which is sine x dx. From dv, I can calculate the integral. So v is equal to the integral of sine x dx. The integral of sine is minus cosine. Any questions still here before continuation? Any questions?
No.
So the rule is integral of u dv equals uv minus integral of v du. The polynomial part, I take it u. The trigonometric part, I take it as dv. From u, I can calculate du by making derivative. From the derivative of v, I can calculate v by making integration. Then I put I equals, the rank is I equals uv between 0 and pi over 2 minus integral of v du. Had a rule, uv minus v du. U is x, I put x, times v, which is minus cosine x, u v, this is minus x cosine x, minus the integral of v du, v times du, dx times minus cosine x. It becomes here, this is why I put here plus cosine x dx. So I replace but each one, u by its value, v by its value, v by its value, and du by its value. Now, still here we have an integral. So I need to calculate the integral. Integral of cosine x is sine x. Then whenever I calculate the integral, it is f of b minus f of a. You see minus pi over 2 sine pi over 2 plus 0 plus sine pi over 2 minus sine 0. We get 1. Any questions before continuation?
Yes.
Yes, what is the question?
هون ليه عملت sin x equal minus cosine x وهون غيرت حطت sin x؟
هيدا هون integral للساين is minus cosine. Here integral للcosine is sine. هون integral للساين فوق هون. هيدا هون integral للساين is minus cosine. Here integral للcosine is sine.
وهيدا الماينس للكوساين عملنا times مع هيدا.
No, integral للساين, integral للساين as a rule is minus cosine x.
Yes, I know, but هون حطت plus.
حطت plus and minus times minus, it becomes a plus.
هيدا عم بقول.
Okay. هلا إذا we can calculate the integral by the American system, or I can put here u, or here I put dv. U is the polynomial part, x. I make the derivative of x, which is 1. I make derivative of 1, we get 0. Whenever we reach 0, we stop. Here I put dv is the second part, which is sine x. The integral of sine x is minus cosine x. And the integral of cosine is sine. We get minus sine x. To calculate the final result, I multiply x times minus cosine x بيطلع minus x cosine x minus 1 times minus sine x, it becomes plus sine x. So x times minus cosine x, we get minus x cosine x. Then minus 1 times minus sine x, it becomes plus sine x between 0 and pi over 2. First time we replace x by pi over 2 minus 0. Please, any questions? Lale, did you understand?
Yes.
Now, عم بيقول deduce the integral of x squared cosine x. Integral للx squared cosine x. The question is deduce. So also here we have a product of polynomial, which is x squared, times trigonometric, which is cosine x. So once again, I use integration by parts. Polynomial times trigonometric, I use integration by parts. I take the polynomial part as u equal x squared. Then du equals 2x dx. Derivative of x squared is 2x dx. I take dv, the trigonometric part cosine x. From dv, I can calculate v. V equals integral of cosine x. What is the integral of cosine x? Which is sine x. So u is the polynomial part, u who x squared, then du equal 2x dx. dv is the trigonometric part. From dv, I can calculate v by making the integral. The integral of cosine x is sine x. So j is equal uv, u times v, x squared sine x, minus v du, 2x sine x dx. هيدا الطول موجود هون، في يطلعوا لبرا outside the integral. 2 integral from 0 pi over 2x sine x. Since the question is reduced, نحن لقينا بالبارت اللي قبل، البارت اللي قبل كان integration of x sine x. وطلع الريزلت له 1. So هيدا هون 2x sine x, the integral from 0 to pi over 2 is 1. So I can put minus 2 into 1. وهيدا هون I can replace first time x by pi over 2 minus second time 0. We get the result. So far so good. Please, any questions?
No بس استنى شوي.
So هذا the main rule you have to memorize. u dv equal uv minus v du. U is the polynomial part, dv is the trigonometric part. Whenever you know this, it is very simple to calculate the integral.
Yes.
Yes.
هلا قلتاش فينا نعمل احنا التيبل بس.
Yes, you can use by any method you like.
Okay.
So you have two methods. You have the choice to solve by any method. If the question is not, if the question is not deduced, I can do it by a table. I can calculate this one, x squared cosine x by making a table. هيدا x squared cosine x. I take u the polynomial part, which is x squared. I make the derivative of x squared, it is 2x. Once again, the derivative of 2x is 2, and the derivative of 2 is 0. Whenever we reach 0, we stop. I take dv, the trigonometric part, which is cosine x. I make the integral of cosine x, which is sine x. Then I make the integral of sine x, which is minus cosine x. And then I make the integral of minus cosine x, it will be minus sine x.
بس استاذ
Yes.
هون انت ليش حاطط بلس 2x؟
لما حطيت plus derivative للx squared is 2x. Derivative.
اوكي
Yes.
وهون بعدين عندك OX times minus عندك
راح اقول لك
هون.
كيف. هلا to calculate the result I multiply this one by that one. How much you get?
اوكي
x
اوكي
squared sin x.
x square sin x
بيرجع
هون
ماينس هيدا ضرب هيدا قديش بيعطي؟ We
ليش
multiply
Plus 2.
بيعطي minus 2x cosine x multiplied by this minus it becomes a plus.
ليش هونيك عم نحط minus عند 2x.
This is the rule. To calculate, we multiply the first, we multiply diagonal, هيدا times هيدا, minus this one times that one. This is the orang.
Okay.
Plus 2x cosine x. بيرجع هيدا times هيدا, the last one. We get minus 2x sine x between 0 and pi over 2. So it is f of b minus f of a. We get pi squared over 4 minus 2. If the question is not deduced, you can solve it by this way, by the American system or by table. Can we complete?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Second part is the integral between 0 and pi over 6 x times cosine 3x dx. Also, product of polynomial times trigonometric. We have to use integration by parts. ما بيزبط على غير method, يعني integration by parts. I take the polynomial part as u. The polynomial part here is x. I make the derivative of x, du is equal, derivative of x is 1, so I put 1 dx. And dv equals in cosine 3x. From dv, I can calculate v. V equals the integral of cosine 3x. What is the integral of cosine 3x? 1 over a sine 3x. Till here, any questions? Any questions, please?
No.
So, I equals uv, هيدا u, v, minus integral v du, هيدا v, وهيدا du. هون ما في integral, I leave it the same between 0 and pi over 6. هيدا 1 over 3 constant بيطلع لبرا, minus 1 over 3 integral from 0 to pi over 6 sine 3x dx. To complete our work, we have to calculate the integral of 0 from 0 to pi over 6 sine 3x. What is the integral of sine 3x? Is minus 1 over a cosine 3x. A is how much?
X.
A is 3. So we get plus 1 over 9 cosine 3x. واضح كيف صار plus? So x over 3 هون clear ليش صار 1 over 9?
Yes.
Minus 1 over 3.
Yes.
Minus 1 over 3 times minus 1 over 3 becomes plus 1 over 9 cosine 3x. So f of b, we make here f of b minus f of a يصير pi over 18 sine pi over 2, which is 1, pi over 18 minus 0, and we get the result. So once again, polynomial times trigonometric. The polynomial is u, then the derivative of u is 1 dx. dv equals cosine 3x. v equals the integral of cosine 3x. Please, you have to memorize the rules for the integration. The derivative integral of cosine 3x will be 1 over 3 sine 3x. Then I equals uv minus v du. 1 over 3 constant. So to complete the work, we have to calculate the integral of sine 3x. The integral of sine 3x is minus 1 over 3 cosine 3x times minus 1 over 3 becomes 1 over 9. Then for each one, we do f of b. Okay, any questions? شباب؟ Chris, any questions?